no luchadors on the show tonight. I wish we had my wrestling organization, Resistance Pro, here. That would be incredible to be able to come to Mexico with my wrestling company. But that said, we chose Mexico City as the first stop on our new tour because it's such a great audience. America is a very tough place to play these days. Latin America, Mexico, South America, these are some of the best places to play right now for rock music. So we take a lot of enthusiasm, and it gives us a greater sense of courage, I guess you could say, to face the American beast. Well, there was a time where we released albums basically every 2 years, which meant go in the studio, make the album, and then go on tour. And you would get a lot of feedback from the audience, good and bad. So when you went to make the next album, you had a real clear sense of what you wanted to do. When we put out an album in 2007, we thought we would be back into this same cycle of, album, tour, album. What we didn't anticipate was that there was going to be a movement in rock music of gross sentimentality where suddenly everybody was wishing for the old days to the point where now you see everyone playing their old albums instead of making new music. So we came very much, particularly in America, came very much into confrontation with this. And so it took time to really step back and think, okay, and I think this is a good thing, to step back and say, what can Smashing Pumpkins be in the future? I know what Smashing Pumpkins could have been and was in the past, but that doesn't necessarily translate to the future. In fact, I think it's not good for the future at all. So I had to really step back and really rethink what I wanted to accomplish with the band, not just musically, but socially, artistically. And so I think it just, I needed that time. Well, usually I think when I write songs, I tend to draw from my personal life, because of course in anybody's personal life we see patterns and maybe things that seem to always be there, whether it comes from your family or from your culture, and then maybe those feelings set against a bigger picture. So Oceania was a very difficult time in my writing. Oceania was a very difficult time in my personal life, but yet in my country, America, there's a lot of social strife, a lot of concern about the future. So it's this, and then in the middle of that is this kind of new technology where we're more personal in a way than we've ever been, and then at the same time we're less personal than we've ever been because we're talking to people. We imagine who they are on the other side, but I know people I've never even met that I talk to. I know them only digitally. So it's a new world, yet it's the same old world problems. Same problems of the heart, same problems of the world, but new communication. So I think Oceania had something to do with that. I'm lucky in that every time I've come to Mexico, I've had a good show everywhere I've played because Mexican fans are so warm and generous with their love and applause that it's hard not to feel good. And I know it maybe sounds silly, but a band, when it feels a lot of good energy from the audience, always plays better. Maybe we're supposed to be oblivious to this, but we're not. Yes, we hope to make a DVD of the concert, and at one point we'd even talked about filming in Mexico City. So we still don't know yet where we're going to do this, and I wouldn't put it out of the question that we would return to film the DVD. Because we want to film it a certain way, so we don't necessarily need a big concert to film as much as we just need a really good audience. Well, there's one simple way to answer both questions, which is there are different gods. Well, there is one God, and then there are the gods that we worship consciously or unconsciously. the God of fame, the God of money, the God of music. I like to think I worship God through the God of music. Yeah? Worshiping God through the God of music has been very good to me. And when I look at my life, I see that always honoring music in a humble way and the gift of music has rewarded me more than if I worship the God of money or the God of fame or the God of anything else. So I think everybody should play that wants to play. I don't think it has anything to do with what generation you're from as much as it has to do with, do you honor the tradition and do you honor the talent, and in doing so, therefore, do you also honor the audience? As far as spirituality goes, to talk about spirituality or God in any context, particularly in America, is a very dicey subject. America is no longer rooted necessarily in faith, although many people in America, I think 3/4 of Americans believe in God, yet the churches are less attended, and there seems to be less of a moral conscience. So faith is treated as a kind of almost like a curiosity in the public sphere. To me, all comes from God, and the best way to honor God is to honor everybody. And that means, and everything, the planet, every country, every right of everybody to believe in what they want to believe in. And of course, then there are the tough decisions where maybe somebody believes in something that makes us uncomfortable. And then we have to decide whether or not that belief is dangerous or to the whole. So as an artist, I try to represent this now in a very public way because I think it all goes together. I can no longer stay, if somebody asks me, who are you? And I just talk about the music business, which is such a small part of my life, then I'm not really being honest. And so to be honest, I must say that God is this big in the music business. It's this
one of the candidates would they?
I think everyone should do what they think is the right thing to do. So if an artist wants to lend their support to a campaign, that's totally fine by me. I've been reached out to many times by politicians, and I've always said no. I don't believe in the American political process as it stands today. It's got too much weird money in it, and they sell everybody up front this story, when behind I know that it's a different story. So for me to lend myself to the fake front story is to pretend that this back thing isn't happening. So does it make sense?